All right, so I just changed the settings on stream, everybody. We went from what is it? We went from Waddle the Axolotl to Botanical Blacktivity. It's probably going to be an ad at the very start of the stream, so I'm gonna chill for a little bit and let everybody get used to, so y'all ain't got to deal with the ads every single time. Specifically when it come to missing out, right? You ain't got to worry about FOMO, right? So when the ads is over, hold on, let me make sure. I know I got to free up space on my PC. Damn, give me a break. I got to buy me a external hard drive. Is the ad over yet? Can y'all see me and hear me and hear me and see me? But yeah, welcome everybody. This is Botanical Blacktivity. Botanical Blacktivity is this. So I'm gonna read out the little thing that I typed for everybody. Enough with influencers shaming people into expensive diets. Enough with influencers acting like living paywalls, pushing master classes. Enough with influencers leveraging attention spans and shock value to keep people from catching on to the games they play. Whether you're trying to start a community garden or your family just wants to learn and try something different, we aim to effectively simplify the process of learning about growing and eating fresh food by sending your family, your community, everything you'll need to get started. What's the first step? Take your pick from our lists of available fruits, flowers, vegetables, and herbs. We update our list after each order. So if you've gotten your hopes up only to realize we ran out of something, then y'all can yell at us a little bit on social media. What's the second step? Email us an appropriate name and mailing address, right? At botanicalblacktivity@gmail.com. Then wait for your seeds and or seedlings and or sprouts to be delivered for the unreasonably low price of free 99, FREE. All right, what's the catch? Everybody's treated equally. No matter how much money we're bribed with through our donation links, we won't move anybody ahead in line or send your package any faster. We can't be bought. We're socialists, not politicians. Um, we are limited by time and available research. Each item has all the information currently available or all the information we were able to find. Please contact us if you have any corrections and or additional information we may have missed. And when you're in the Google Doc, right? Because I'm the owner of the Google Doc, so it looks a little bit different to me. But when you're in the Google Doc, you'll be able to click here to donate directly to the Cash App. I do have a blue check mark on my Cash App. I'm verified. You feel what I'm saying? So you ain't got to worry about nobody scamming or doing anything weird like that. I am official. But yeah, the link to the Cash App donation thing will be right there. So if you actually want to donate or anything like that, boom. And then this explains the inventory. Each package we buy contains a certain number of seeds, and we list that as accurately as possible to reassure y'all we aren't being skimpy with the seeds. Because if I just send you an itty bitty amount of seeds, you're gonna be like, why did you just send me this little itty bitty amount of seeds? That's because, boom, we only get a certain amount of seeds in the whole package. And then to make sure we can service as many different people as possible, we got to break that package down to multiple smaller packages if we can. And then y'all got to keep in mind, some of these seeds are very, very, very like surprisingly fucking tiny. So no matter how bad you want to try to split up the seeds, unless you have the proper tools, you're basically cooked. Because the seeds are so small that the static electricity in the plastic will literally make the seeds stick to everything. So it's like sometimes we just could only give you that little bit amount of seeds, and we try to make sure we communicate that to y'all. We give you as much as we can from each container until we run out completely and need to replenish our supply. As you're typing up your orders, please be sure to specify which seeds you need the most of in number of seeds or in grams. That way, if you need a certain type of seed more than another, we can actually take that into account. You feel what I'm saying? And package your stuff up accordingly. If you are part of a community garden or grassroots collective, you can request full containers of seeds, though it will take some time to purchase and ship. So yeah, just be patient with us. We also tell you what our sources are. You feel what I'm saying? And these are the growers, right? Cherokee purple tomato. It'll tell you some information about how the seeds need to be grown, and all of that. Um, right? This is the inventory. So basically, all you need to do is tell us, hey, I want this, I want this, I want this, and I want this, right? California black eye. Every single one of these things on the list has a link that will take you to a page explaining everything about that particular crop. So, for example, if I wanted to know how
Here's
to,
Throat Me Amos. The stream will be taking a brief intermission. But never fear, Waddle Axolotl and I will be back soon. A bientôt.
waddle axolotl. But for everybody who is subbed, right? Basically, and I'm gonna repeat myself for the people who are not subscribed. That way, y'all can get in on this information as well. But basically, every single one of these that's highlighted in this bright blue color, that's a link to the website, aka the source, and it'll tell you everything you need to know. 60 days to harvest, heirloom variety. You feel what I'm saying? Germination, 7 to 10 days at 50 to 60 Fahrenheit. Plant seeds ½ inch deep. You feel what I'm saying? This right here is the planting guide. So if you need to read the guide to how to plant the stuff that you get from us, this is how you feel what I'm saying? You get down. You click this and it'll take you to the page that tells you everything you need to know specifically about these seeds, right? Every single seed, and not individual seeds, but like the type of seeds, right? Asparagus, broccoli, etc. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Germination, space between all of that. You feel what I'm saying? And if anything else is missing, you feel what I'm saying? Just let us know. We'll add that information as soon as we can. But yeah, this is the stuff that is not alphabetized. So, this is what it looks like from my end, but it looks a little bit different, a little bit cleaner on y'all side when you go to the link. Culinary herbs, medicinal herbs, regular fruits and stuff, growables as they are called. Because I figure fruits and vegetables, you can argue semantics about that. You're not really 100% sure if it's a fruit or a vegetable, but it's a growable. So I figured I'd just put growables to make it easier to digest for a lot of different people. But yeah, we have general growables that you eat. We got the culinary herbs, we got the medicinal herbs, and the medicinal herbs are typed out a little bit differently, right? So I went in and made sure I typed out all of the information I could find about germination, how long it takes to harvest, stuff like that. Chamomile or chamomile. But yeah, chamomile, creeping thyme, you feel what I'm saying? English lavender, golden purslane seeds, hyssop, peppermint, sorrel large leaf, sorrel red vine, spearmint, or sorrel red vein. I keep saying red vine instinctually, but sorrel red vein, spearmint, all of that. So we have a lot of different stuff, right? Even stevia. And then when you go all the way to the bottom, it tells you when our most recent revisions were. So y'all will be able to see how often we have edited and how recently we have edited, right? And I was on this bitch last night. So you feel what I'm saying? And you can see like sometimes I'll just take long breaks because it can be exhausting trying to gather all of this information and doing all of the work myself. But ultimately, that's the description of botanical blacktivity. Now, let's take a little sneaky peek, if you would, at the food glossary, and I'm gonna break that down for y'all quick, fast, in a hurry. Y'all already saw our mission statement and everything else, so I don't need to run through all of this information again. But what I will do, right, is stop right here. The food glossary, actually, you know what? Matter of fact, let me just break down what the word glossary means, right? Because not everybody understands what a glossary is. So, a glossary, ladies and gentlemen, is a list of terms in a special subject, field, or area of usage with accompanying definitions. That means a glossary is a big list of words about any particular, subject, right? And it has definitions of those words paired up with it. So, for example, what is an antioxidant? An antioxidant is a compound, right, that helps to protect the body against damage caused by unstable molecules that contribute to aging and disease. Boom. So if you want to know what an antioxidant is, or a mineral, or phytochemicals, et cetera, this food glossary is going to help you understand what these things are. So not only does it tell you about different foods, right? It also tells you about different vitamins, minerals, and all of those other things that you're putting into your body. That way, you develop an understanding over time of what it is you're putting into your body, right? So let's break it down real quick, just to show y'all an example of what I mean. Say, like, you're a person who likes beans. You just like beans, baked beans, you feel what I'm saying? Stewed, all of that. Black eyed peas, all of that. If you like beans, right? Black beans, for example, this will give you a little bit of information about what black beans do. Now, beans in general tend to have high protein and things like that, but this will show you what each type of bean is really known for. So if you really want to get the most nutritionally dense bean, you go with adzuki beans, because adzuki beans, they the ones that got the folate, the iron, the copper, the manganese, potassium. You feel what I'm saying? And like I said, it'll tell you exactly what it is. And right, to help teach y'all about what different symbols mean, right? Milligrams, that's mg. Right here is grams. That's the little g. That special UG right there, right? That's the special symbol for micrograms. And it tells you, reminder, this little UG is the symbol for micrograms. And then it tells you 1 microgram equals 0.000001 grams or 0.001 micrograms. Boom. And then as you're going down the list, right, it'll tell you 622 what? Micrograms. 622 micrograms of folate. Folate is also called vitamin B9. That's why it's in parentheses. So now you know, if you look at a package and it says folate, or you're watching a video from an influencer and they're saying, "Oh my God, look at these, look at all of these other words." And let's go down to the food glossary, right? And go down to these. How many times have you seen an influencer say, "What is thiamine? What is riboflavin and niacin? And I don't even know how to pronounce this word. What is that? Why am I putting that in my body?" That's them showing you that they don't know what they're talking about. Thiamine is literally vitamin B1. Vitamin B1 is thiamine. Vitamin B2 is riboflavin. So this food glossary helps y'all get around the bullshit influencers who really just be trying to make y'all panic and use fear mongering to basically trick y'all into buying their goofy ass self-help programs, or buying their CMOS. You don't need CMOS, I promise you. There's plenty of other ways to, be healthy, to do what you need for yourself. You don't need, you know, another masterclass. Now, when you scroll down a little bit further, you see that beta carotene, right, and all of these other things for vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, etc., we have. And this list goes down for each vitamin, mineral, antioxidant, etc., and tells you what those things support. So if you personally, right, you're like, all right, you say I need beta carotene, or you say I need biotin, but what does that even do for my body, right? Like, how am I supposed to understand the importance of nutrition if you're not specifically telling me what I need and what it does for my body? This solves that problem. Beta carotene, which supports immune function, healthy vision, including night vision, and skin health by acting as a provitamin A, how do you pronounce this? Carotenoid. There we go. By acting as a provitamin A carotenoid that the body converts into vitamin A as needed. Sometimes, right, with the right amount of supported research, because I don't just want to put something on here without doing my research first. If I can actually find peer reviewed research, right, that supports the idea that a certain vitamin, mineral, etc., actually does something specific and can be found in certain foods, I'll add that to the list so that y'all know, okay, now, how do you feel what I'm saying? How do I get this specific thing? You're telling me, or my doctor's telling me, I'm deficient in biotin. Well, what do I eat to get biotin? Sometimes I can find research that answers that question. And then I'll put that information right here. Biotin, right? So for vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, etc., we have biotin, which is essential for the metabolism of proteins and carbohydrates and in the production of hormones and cholesterol. Where do you find biotin? Chocolate, cereal, egg yolks, legumes, milk, nuts. Pause. Pause on that. Pause on nuts in your mouth. Pause. Organ meats like liver and kidney, pork, and yeast. Now, right? You could just go look up recipes that has this shit in it. Now it's easy for y'all to get creative, or easier for y'all to get creative, because now you know exactly what foods you need to add to your diet in order to gain access to the best nutrition for yourself, right? So that's basically the food glossary. Now, as another example of information you might find in a food glossary, let's look at tomatoes. So let's see. All right, yeah. So this is a perfect example. Black crim tomatoes. High levels of anthocyanins. Is that how you? No, anthocyanins. Sorry. So high levels of anthocyanins and lycopene help combat oxidative stress, reduce inflammation, and may lower the risk of chronic diseases like heart disease and cancer. So if you want to, lower the risk, right? Black crim tomatoes may help you in that regard. They are rich in vitamin C and vitamin A, supporting immune function, tissue repair, and healthy vision and skin. Boom. Contains potassium to help regulate blood pressure and fiber to support gut health and cholesterol management. Boom. A medium tomato contains approximately 22 calories, making it an excellent choice for weight management. Boom. Now let's look at the ethnic/cultural info. And again, if I'm doing the research and I can actually find an example of ethnic/cultural info or geography or history, I keep saying geography or history. There we go. Then I'll put that information in. So luckily, we have some ethnic/cultural info about the black Krim tomato. So let's see what's up. Named after the Isle of Krim near the Crimean Peninsula on the Black Sea, black Krim tomatoes reportedly gained broader exposure during the Crimean War in the 1850s, a conflict that brought together troops from various European nations. It is said that soldiers from the United Kingdom, France, Italy, and Turkey collected the seeds of black Krim tomatoes, likely drawn to its unique characteristics and rich, salty flavor, which distinguished it from more common tomato varieties. Despite this early spread, the black Krim tomato remained relatively obscure until the late 1990s. At this time, Lars Olof Rosenström of Sweden introduced this variety to the Seed Savers Exchange, a nonprofit organization founded in the 1970s in Iowa dedicated to the preservation and sharing of heirloom seeds. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the ethnic/cultural info behind black Krim tomatoes. Then you got the Cherokee purple tomatoes, right? We got ethnic/cultural info about that. Geography, history. You feel what I'm saying? Now, of course, I don't have it for every single thing on this list. I'm slowly but surely adding more and more and more and more. But that's basically the gist. I wanted to do this live stream on top of everything else I did. I might stream on Instagram after this just to give everybody, a solid understanding of what botanical blacktivity is and what botanical blacktivity stands for. Wanted to take some time out of my day to get that done. But now let's see. I think that's it.